Hey fellow music fans, welcome back to Psychology of Rock. If you're new here, my name's Nina, and today we are going to be dissecting the song Closer to the Heart by Rush. We'll be looking into the psychology and the philosophy behind the song. I picked the song today not only because I love it, but also because with everything going on in the world right now, I feel it is more meaningful and more relevant than ever. I've said this before, but it's almost as if Neil Peart had a crystal ball when he was writing some of these songs, and Closer to the Heart is a prime example of this because it really does seem to apply so strongly to what is happening today, although the poetry of Rush really does seem to transcend time. It is a magnificent song, one that is so beautiful that it actually makes me cry when I listen to it with headphones on, and it's also a song that's hard to listen to just once. I find that once I start listening to it, I need to hear it a couple more times before I'm really ready to move on to the next track because it is so powerful. So today I want to start with giving a brief history of the song as well as share some fun facts about it. Then I'm going to move on to my analysis and share what I feel is really the psychology behind the song itself. But first, just a quick request to subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And also I would love to hear whether or not you agree with this analysis. So please don't hesitate to leave your thoughts below. I love hearing your perspective. And I also find that the comments really do generate a very interesting dialogue. So with that being said, let's start with the basics. Rush was a three-piece Canadian band consisting of Geddy Lee on bass and vocals, Alex Lifeson on guitar, and the late Neil Peart on drums, who also served as the band's brilliant lyricist. I genuinely feel that they were one of the greatest bands of all time. They had such a unique and unmistakable sound. In fact, I find it almost impossible to even compare them to another band because they completely created their own sound. The song Closer to the Heart was released in October of 1977 and was the lead single off their fifth studio album, which is named A Farewell to Kings. It was Rush's first hit single in the UK and also charted in both the United States and in Canada. And something that I found very interesting about the song is that it was their first to include a non-band member as one of the songwriters. So some of the lyrics on the song were actually written by Peter Talbot, who was Neil's friend and someone who he considered to be a prolific writer. Now, we all know that Neil is more than capable of writing his own masterpieces, but he says that it really was Peter who came up with the idea for the song as well as the first verse and the title. And given that the track turned out to be a masterpiece, I think Neil really knew what he was doing when he asked Peter to collaborate on the song. A fun fact about Closer to the Heart is that it's been said that that little bell break that takes place in the music right before the 1 minute mark was intentionally created to give Alex enough time to switch his guitars when this song was played live. The intro of the song, at least to me, sounds like it's played on a 12-string acoustic guitar, and after that little bell break, we can clearly hear it shift to an electric guitar. So if that little musical interlude really was intentionally created to give Alex enough time to switch from his acoustic to his electric guitar, I have to say that it is a very Rush thing to do. I have never seen a band give so much thought to every single aspect of their music, yet this is something that we see from Rush over and over and over again. They make such smart and interesting choices musically, and I think that really does set them apart from other musicians and from other bands. And even if it wasn't created intentionally for the guitar switch, that little bell section is a beautiful transition. It really builds this anticipation as it shifts from being a ballad to a true rock song. And I have a lot more I want to say about the actual music, and I will definitely get to that later, but I want to switch my focus now to what the song is actually saying, because as I mentioned earlier, I think it's never been more relevant, and I think it directly relates to today's world. I think overall the song really ties in perfectly to a timeless statement by Jimi Hendrix, which is, when the power of love overcomes the love of power, then the world will know peace. And I think that's exactly what we're talking about. But even before getting deep into the lyrics, we can see that just the title itself says a lot. I think the phrase closer to the heart is a beautiful one, especially in a time when human connection and the desire to make the world a better place is really at an all-time low. When we say the phrase close to the heart or near to one's heart, it really does signify that we are talking about something that is very valuable, something that is truly important and meaningful, as opposed to the very superficial and the very trivial things that today's society tends to value. And when we just isolate the word heart, we can understand it as a locus of our physical and our spiritual wisdom, and see that it represents concepts such as feelings and connection and charity. The heart holds our most precious thoughts and memories and hopes and dreams, and is directly tied to our strongest emotion, which is love. So even just the title of the song is very profound. I think the title itself is a reminder to focus on what is meaningful and to be quietly generous in a very selfish world. But let's go ahead and dive into the actual lyrics. So in the first verse it says, "And the men who hold high places must be the ones who start to mold a new reality closer to the heart." Firstly, I love that the song begins with the word "and," because to me that implies that this is a conversation that we've been having for a while, that we've been talking about this for a long time. And I think in a way we all have really been having this conversation, because throughout history we've given power to many forces who lack heart and who put greed and the desire for more power in front of the will to do good for other people. And collectively I think we feel that the men who hold high places, or at least some very notable ones, are certainly not bringing the world closer to the heart. In fact, they are doing completely the opposite and disregarding the factor of heart altogether. Kindness and compassion certainly do not seem to be priorities right now, which is particularly devastating because of everything the world is going through right now. We are in very uncertain times where many people feel alone and afraid, and they are dealing with problems that they've never been faced with before. I think a lot of people have completely given up on humanity, which makes this verse so profound, because it's telling us that we need to mold a new reality where we are actually taking care of one another and where we are truly operating from a place of love. I think it's just offering that great reminder to stop focusing on our differences and start recognizing that we're all on this journey together. I think it's a very deep verse and perfectly worded, but let's move on to the next one. "The blacksmith and the artist reflect it in their art. They forge their creativity closer to the heart." This is the verse that makes me the most emotional. I love that he is talking about two very different types of artists, and I think maybe it signifies something even deeper here. Maybe people with different philosophies or different cultures or different life experiences, all being shown to be equal, really being one despite these differences. I love how he refers to each of these distinct examples in the song as artists, because I feel that in life we are all artists in some way, shape, or form, even if we don't think of ourselves that way. And I think the song is suggesting that if we approach our art or our work from a place that really is close to the heart, then we are all contributing to making the world a better place. I think it's also saying that when we come from this creative mindset and we're able to expand from the typical worldview or the mainstream narrative, we tend to see the world and create things from a place that is a lot more benevolent. And I think the next verse really continues on that theme. It says, "Philosophers and plowmen, each must know his part to sow a new mentality closer to the heart." So basically it's saying it doesn't matter who you are or what you do, we all share this responsibility to try to put the world back together and to start to focus on the things that actually matter. So in other words, it can't just be some people, it has to be everybody. We all must know our part. It will take all of humanity to work together if we truly want to see change. And as the last verse says, "You can be the captain and I will draw the chart, sailing into destiny closer to the heart." So again, the words are saying that we need to work together. We need to figure out how we can all contribute to this in our own way. And that when we do, there is a new destiny that awaits us. So in a nutshell, it's a song that reminds us of our ability and responsibility to create change not only in our own individual internal worlds, but also in the world around us. It is a thoughtful, eloquent, and heartfelt call for us to start living with integrity and truth truth again. And while I do think it is calling on people in power to start kind of initiating this harmony, I think in a way it's saying that we all need to be role models. And while I think this song is just a masterpiece lyrically, Geddy's delivery of these words is sheer perfection, and his vocals are so powerful and so beautiful. The song always gives me chills. Not to mention that he is playing a syncopated bass line at the same time. His vocals and the bass line are rhythmically independent of one another, yet both are flawless. It is just so impressive. And then on top of that, he has the incredible ability to hold those high notes in the song, which makes the song sound even more emotional and makes his delivery even more passionate. So I can't say enough about the vocals. And then there is the flawless guitar playing of Alex Lifeson and the gorgeous guitar solo that you just want to continue on and on and on. But this is a shorter song, especially for Rush, so they made sure that every single note in the song counted. And as I said before, I've never seen a band that is so intentional. They take such care with every single musical decision. And I think sometimes that since Geddy has such a powerful voice and Neil's drumming is so legendary, that sometimes we forget what an incredible guitarist that Alex Lifeson really is. He has iconic riffs, and he is so versatile, and I think his playing in the song is simply immaculate. And of course, it is just so difficult to find any of their songs where Neil's skills at drumming isn't incredibly obvious, but Closer to the Heart really shows why he was called the Professor. He pursued excellence throughout his entire career, and clearly he achieved it. And when we combine these three insanely talented individuals with these timeless lyrics, we are left with a piece of art that is going to continue to inspire people for decades. I truly believe that music has the ability to heal and to transcend us, and that the right song can have an impact on our entire life. And I feel that there are so many Rush songs that have done that for me, and Closer to the Heart is certainly one of them. I feel like this song is a beacon of light in a period in our history that is a little bit dark, and I think that Rush has been able to open the hearts and the minds of many different people, and they have impacted the lives of so many in such a profound way. So those are my thoughts on Rush and Closer to the Heart, but I would love to hear yours, so please don't forget to leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and to check out the video I made about their song Limelight. I will go ahead and link that down in the description box below as well. I truly hope you enjoyed today's analysis, and I will see you next week.